Hey you guys, it's your girl Lacey. I'm here to review American Horror Story Hotel Season 5, Episode 2. This is going to be Chutes and Ladders. So the episode starts off with Sally. She's sewing up a bed with the addict that we saw from Episode 1. Um, she's sewing up the bed, and he's like, "Oh, you lied to me. You said I'd be free." She's like, Of course I lied. You were stupid to think you can cheat death." And so she pushed his head down in the mattress and sewed it up. As she's sewing it up, one of the Swedish girls who didn't get out of that cage the Countess has, um, she's screaming for help. The little vampire babies are feeding off her. And Sally's like, "Can you shut this motherfucker up, please? Did you forget that the cop is staying here?" Iris is like, "He's away at work. Relax." And so, Iris said besides, she'll be quiet in a minute anyway. She always shuts up. So the girl quiets down. She's like, "See?" And the little baby holding it, he was like, "Yuck, she tastes nasty." And she said, "That's because she's dead. Stop feeding." So then Iris and Liz Taylor, they go to dump her body in a little chute that James Patrick Marsh built when he built the hotel. And then you see she falls on a mattress. There's this dust coming down there, and then there's bodies decomposing. I'm like, that is so fucking nasty. But I guess no one will ever know. And it just makes you think of all this. Especially when you go to big cities, when you're looking at buildings, especially empty buildings and old buildings, it's like, are there bodies in there? I know other people might not think that, but I think about stuff like that. Like, what if somebody's missing and you're right here and there are bodies in there? You've been looking for them forever. It's like, oh, especially in places like LA, that shit is huge. So, so then Iris goes to give her the purified blood stash to the Countess. She asked about Donovan and where is he and can I see him? And she's like, "Oh, he should be around." She said, "Well, it's been a long time since I've seen him," and the Countess closes the door in her face. And Donovan is hiding out from her. He doesn't want to see his mom. I'm like, was she really that bad? Or was he just like on some old Stewie Griffin shit and exaggerating? And goddamn. And I wonder, you know. They should have had, with this one, they should have had like a flashback so they can show his childhood. Because it seemed like he was just complaining about shit. Because he didn't get his way. But, I don't know. So then he's like, "I'm trying to hide from that woman, but I tried to die to get away from her. And you made it so that I couldn't. So, here we all are." And so then Countess is like, "Well, let's go on out and let's go out for the hunt." Donovan's like, "We just fed. Let's just watch House of Cards or some shit." And she's like, "Bitch, how dare you? We're not watching no House of Cards. We're going to hunt." So then she goes out by herself. And then the scene comes back. The cop's wife, Alex, she treats this boy Max, and he has the measles. So she tells his mom, and she's like, "Oh God, I thought it was serious." And she's like, "It is serious. It's the fucking measles. There's no cure for this shit, and it's unnecessary because you should have had his ass vaccinated." And I don't think I would want anybody to get no measles, but I just don't know with the vaccination. They never, it's just a bunch of stuff in there that's real iffy. But if it'll keep you from getting measles, I would just research it heavily and just try to get that. I mean, because I don't, you hate for somebody to get some shit that could have been prevented. But, I don't know. Just don't know about these vaccines. So she basically, actually, Alex chewed that mom out about her not getting him vaccinated. And then she left, and then we get on to um, the cop, and he's in his hotel room, and he thinks he's hallucinating, but he's just seeing things as they are. But he is a more physical person. He deals with logic and things that can be proven. He doesn't quite understand the works of the spiritual world. So he's seeing these apparitions fucking and all of that. Like what they used to do in life, they're doing it in death. And they're repeating the cycle. They have yet to be free because they died in this bondage of a hotel. So they're stuck in that bitch until they, find a fucking purpose. So he's seeing them fuck. He's seeing all types of shit go on. But he's thinking he's tripping. So, that's that. He goes to work. He gets something mailed to him. He thinks it's a bomb. He has the bomb squad come down. Everybody gets evacuated, and he gets some type of, I don't know, message. And so, I think later on he meets Sally in the bar, and she was just talking to him, and they're hooking up, and he's talking to her about the time when he was at work and the man killed his family and then killed himself, but it was on accident because he left that carbon monoxide generator on or something because he was trying to heat his house for his family, and then they died, so then he killed himself. And then he talked about when he lost Holden, and so he was like, "I can't drink, I can't lose control," and he was just talking to Sally. And later on, you see his wife Alex talk about who she was, and she had a horrible childhood, and she just wanted to help children and be the greatest pediatrician. And she's like, I'm not unaware of the obvious cliche. I wanted to save other people because I needed saving. And I've seen that a lot. And I think that's real, common amongst certain people. With certain types of backgrounds, especially if their childhood was unhealthy. And so then she was like, I never knew love. I never loved anybody the way I loved my son Holden. And when he disappeared, it just broke my whole world. And so then you have Will Drake having his fashion show and everything's going on, and then Fit Finn Whitrock, he comes in, he's the model, and what's his name? I forget his name. It's not Justin something. I'll remember it later. But Finn, he's modeling and he's getting high off of some pink shit, and he's trying to find coke, and he's just trying to get high. I think it's crystal meth. I'm not sure. So he goes on the runway, but he has such a rage about him, and I think it's because he's so fucking high. I think some other things happened to him too, because it seemed angry, and so he was about to fight this one model, but then he stopped when he saw the Countess. And Donovan was like, what the fuck was that look? And she was like, oh, he had just such rage. And apparently with the Countess, she can smell and taste emotions. How things taste like copper, or some shit tastes real good, or it tastes fucking disgusting. Um, So she was like, really enticed by him. And so then he goes backstage and he like basically quits. And Donovan, no, not Donovan, Will Drake goes back. He said, let me tell you something. This show is not over. You need to get your shit together and get back on that fucking runway. He was like, it is over. And breaks the mirror or something and cuts his face. And so he was like, get the fuck out of here. And so later on, he goes up to the top floor where Countess and Donovan are asleep and stay at. He's looking for drugs. Donovan's gonna beat his ass because he doesn't like the fact that him and Countess had a moment like that. He's like, why the fuck are you looking at my girl? I will fucking kill you. And he's like, listen, you need to get out of my apartment, get out of my studio. And he was like, let me tell you something. I can smell the cocaine in here. I know you're stashing it somewhere. So he beats his ass and throws him somewhere, and I think Countess stops him or some shit. And then she eventually ends up talking to Finn. They become involved. She cuts her tit and he drinks from the blood and he becomes infected with the ancient virus as well. So they become one, they have sex, they're talking, they're conversing, and he was like, "So you, how long have you been alive?" She said, "I was born in 1904. I think it's either 1904 or 1906." And he's like, "You've been in, the Depression, um, even the Clintons. You was here for all of it." He's like, "What was your favorite time?" He was like, She said the height of every um period is my favorite time, but my most favorite was the 70s, and that was kind of like the free sex, free love thing, and it looked fun, but it did come crashing down real hard. And she was like, everybody was a vampire. We were all sucking each other's energies, and it was just great. I was open. It was wonderful. She said, but um, after that, it was just so much loss, and I think it was like hinting into the HIV, and she was like with all of her friends. I guess a lot of them were gay or something. She's like Keith and David and somebody else. A lot of them, she lost them due to HIV and probably some other things, maybe some overdoses. She's like all that loss, and just imagining who they would be, or what would life would be. What life would be if they didn't die, and we didn't have to lose so many people that we loved. And it's really real because at that time I wasn't born until '93, so. But what I know is what I've seen, even from what people in my family had described. You had friends and loved ones were just dropping like flies. It was either for people in my family, you either had like the gang shit, people was overdosing on some shit, or they was dying from HIV/AIDS later on during the '80s and whatnot. You either died from some gang shit, you overdosed on some shit, or you died from an infliction uh, of some type, health wise. So it was a lot of loss, but I think with hers was probably more so with HIV/AIDS related and drug related. So she was talking about things, and then Donovan came in. He was like, he wouldn't last 1 week. I can't believe you turned him. He was a fucked up model. And she was like, well, I turned you, and you was a pathetic junkie, about dying on, if not dead, on the floor. And she told him, it's not our precious virus that makes you, it's the heartbreaks, and I know that better than anybody. So she basically kicked him out, and then um, the show goes on later on. The officer, what's his name? John. I keep calling him officer. John comes back and he runs into no. John came back to the hotel because his daughter had run away from him and his wife. She was somewhere at some type of daycare, or she's at somebody's house, and she ran off. She went to the hotel to go see her dad. She saw Holden, and he told her, um, um, because when she was at the runway with her dad, um, Will Drake's son took her to the empty pool with the Countess's babies. So she saw Holden. He woke up and he looked at her. And so then she came back to go see Holden, and she was like, "Why haven't you changed? You're my older brother. You're supposed to, why haven't you changed? I've grown up. How come you haven't?" And he was like, "I just don't grow up. I just stay like this forever." She wanted to take a picture with him. He tried to bite her, and she was like, she left. She got the fuck out of Dodge. Then she ran into Sally in the hallway, and she broke all her teeth and was bleeding, and she scared the fuck out of her. And she was like, "Kids are great," and just being her sarcastic ass and shit. And then she went home, and her parents, there was cops everywhere. They was like, "We gotta find her. We gotta find her." And she came in the house, and her dad was like, "What the fuck? Are you okay?" And her mom was like, "Okay. Are you fine?" They was checking on her, and she was like, "I saw Holden." It was like, "Holden is not here. You just stop that madness, stop that foolishness." And so then Alex told John, it's like, "Oh my fucking God, I can't believe you made me go through that again." And he was like, "What the fuck? You think that Holden was my fault?" And you can say they could have been watching it, but with kids, it kind of just, you know, 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 They could run off. They could be snatched. So you really gotta be real careful with kids because they're so little. Any, I'm sorry, I'm still eating these Takis. Anything can happen to them quickly. So you just really gotta be careful. But I don't think that was his fault. I think she just she was already having issues with him, and then once but the family was together, and once Holden left, she was like, you know what? Nah, I can't do this shit. Alex even said, for a while you think when the phone first rings for about a month or so, you're like, oh my god, they found him. And then she said after a while, the phone ringing is just a phone ringing, and you just got to do whatever you got to do to survive. And she was popping pills and shit. I don't know what type of pill it was. Um, so then she was like, I can't do this anymore. And so then he went back to the hotel. When he went back to the hotel, he went to Iris. He was like, listen, my little girl was here. Some shit was going down. I don't appreciate her being here. What the fuck did y'all do? And I want answers right now. So Iris told him about um, John Patrick Marsh. I think that was James Patrick Marsh. And she told him how he was a serial killer. He built the hotel as a living alibi to get rid of bodies. Um, you get rid of bodies. To this, the third floor has like a torture chamber. It was like a hall with no rooms and shit. There was a man who was building, and he confronted him about it, and he was like, "Hey, this hall doesn't have rooms on it. What's going on?" So then he was like, "Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. This is the old prince. I'm gonna get you the new ones." And then he took him upstairs and he killed him. Will Drake even talked about going back a little while. Will Drake was talking about removing that third floor because it's not on the plans. He said it looked like somebody submitted the original plans and then did whatever the fuck they wanted to do, which he did. Um, so then, but he talked about how many people that he killed, and Iris was saying that he made this poor wife watch, and she was, but um, Countess wasn't poor. She wanted to watch that shit. She was crazy too. So he finally killed himself because somebody called the police on him. He killed some workers, migrant workers, and left Bibles all over the place because that man said, um, "God is bigger than you. No matter how much men like you live in this world, God is, more powerful." He's like, "Well, I guess I gotta kill God." I was like, "You're nuts." I like it, but it's really crazy. So then he killed the migrant workers, but then his napkin, his handkerchief got left there. Like either he was sloppy or somebody set his ass up. But then he killed the maid. She came. She's like, "Listen, they're coming. What we gonna do?" He's like, "Well, I'm not going to jail. I'm gonna go out the way I want to go out." So he killed her because she asked him if she could be his last victim. Then he sliced his own neck. I would have shot myself. I'm not gonna slice my neck. I don't want no pain. It's you gurgling on your blood, and it's a long process. Pop, pop, real easy. Fuck all that. So then, and then you get to a scene. Will Drake wants to take things out. The junkie Finn, he comes in and he was sitting there, and Finn was Will Drake was like, "How'd you get in here? I'm gonna call the police if you trespass again." But then he was like, "What the fuck happened to your face?" Because when he got the ancient virus, it made his skin smooth and it healed everything. He said, that crystal meth was fucking my face up. I was starting to look like those meth heads on the little website. What meth will do to you. Uh, so then Will Drake and Naomi were like, "Nice to see you. You look great." It's like, "Nice to see you too." And he stormed out. And Naomi was like, "Actors." And then later, Naomi went to her room. Oh, she was killed by that junkie that Sally showed in the bed at the beginning of the show. And he stabbed her. He gets to the hotel. I think John finds him. He gonna say, I stabbed somebody, I killed her, I thought it was Sally. Now pause. Bitch, you did not think Naomi and Sally looked alike. I don't give a fuck how long you been doing drugs. You did not motherfucking think that Naomi and Sally looked the fucking like. You a goddamn lie. You might be confused and perplexed, but you ain't that perplexed. The fuck? So he killed her, he got Naomi blood on her. And so then I think at the end John goes back to the hotel for more answers. And that's pretty much that. It was very confusing but wonderful. And I liked it. And so I'll see you guys next week for some other reviews. I might start reviewing Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I don't know. That type of shit kind of bores me. I might just keep on with the American Horror Story reviews. So I love you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Mwah.